Hiya! Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. My name is Kama and I'm a mixed media artist from Poland. I go by Weird is the best on the internet. And today's video will be testing a product that I was sent. So this video is kind of sponsored. I'm not sure how that works, but I've been sent a product from a brand and I'm going to try and give you an honest opinion of the product and I'm going to try it out on video. So let's get into the box. So today we'll be swatching Arrtx Acrylic marker set. This one is a set of 60 colors and excuse the glare of camera. And these are water-based brush tip marker pens, bright and opaque, and they claim to be available on different surfaces. We'll be testing them out on paper today. I've also been sent a sketchbook to try this in. Okay, so the sketchbook is 180 GSM and it's quite a big sketchbook. I think it's A4, 297 by 210 millimeters. And it's a mixed pulp paper. I'm not sure what that means. It's probably just mixed media kind of paper. It says that it's available, it's good for drawing pencils, sketching pencils, colored pencils and markers, and it has a inner storage pocket, which I quite like about sketchbooks in general. And I will link to all the details from Arrtx in the description below, so you can check them out and you can find this for yourself if you'd like to get these. The cover is really nice green color. It's kind of soft and it's embossed, which is a nice touch. Again, it's a little bit of a shame that the cover is a bit dented, but that's just how it traveled. Maybe the first couple pages have dented edges, but everything else seems alright. This is not what I expected, but it's a good surprise. So there's a pocket, but it's a lay flat, so that's why the cover isn't fully attached. It's to allow the sketchbook to lay flat without bending the pages. That's my biggest thing when I buy a sketchbook. The biggest advantage of the sketchbook over a few, maybe some other sketchbooks, is that it will lay flat. So it means that I can draw on two spreads at the same time, on like the whole spread at the same time. And I don't need to put anything below to make it work for me. It's pretty good. That's a good shout, good sign. I would definitely like to know what surface this paper is, because it just says mixed pulp, which can be anything. I'm not really sure what that is. And I think let's get into swatching, and at the end I'll also do a quick art for you, but this video will be mostly about swatching. I might record a separate video where I make art with all my Arrtx markers. I have 3 sets, so I won 1 set of Arrtx markers in a giveaway before, and I also bought one for myself in the past. Okay, let's see what this box is all about. So this is just repeating what we've already looked at. There are saturated colors. The swatches are just for reference. I take it they're not the most accurate. Sometimes that happens with pens, with swatches of pens. And I believe this is the same type of marker that I already have, which I can show you. I think so. So I bought myself this set a while ago, and it's 36 color set, and they are brush tip So they don't have a pump, they are just straight up brush pens. And they're all inked up from the beginning. You can watch the video here on my YouTube, so I'll link to that. And you can also watch the video of me swatching the Sim Tab set, which I won. These are also called saturated colors. And they say they are waterproof, which I haven't tested actually, so I might do some tests at some point. But yeah, let's get into this video, which will be about these marker sets. I'm not sure about labeling my swatches. I think I'll just go straight on paper without numbering them, because it's usually a lot of work and a lot of extra editing. Sadly, these markers, as I found last time, don't come with any labels on them, so you have to label them yourself. Let's just hope that they are all in the right order, but I'll do that off camera. You don't really need to see that. Or you probably don't want to see that. So I'll go from top to bottom, from each row, like this. I see that they've improved their packaging and they provided like a plastic, I don't know what it's called, but like they don't mix. So wherever you put your pen, it's where it is. Whereas in some other boxes in the past, they would just completely go separated in the box, and you'd have them mixed up, even though you might want them in the order, because they're kind of ordered by color, which is really nice. So yeah, if that made any sense at all. Okay, let's get started. So this one is the first one, which I assume will be the 00, which is just white, and it probably won't show up. I did test these in a black sketchbook, and they do pass. They are alright in a black sketchbook. Okay, it's a bit hard to tell, but I think this is the second one. This is 02. It's like off-white. I hope you can see everything. I think the sun is being blocked, but also it's a really cloudy day today. I wonder if I can do this. I'll just have them on the side. So this one's C03. I wonder what the difference is between C03 and 03. It's quite a big difference. But I don't know what the letter C on it means. If you know, let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to know. It looks like the paint in them is not really mixed up very well, which I guess that's where the advantage of SimTab ones is, because you mix it up. There's like something inside that makes it possible to mix up the paint. So this was 05 and this is C08. I might label them all at the end, because it kind of bothers me that I haven't yet done it. This is a lovely yellow. That's 09. No. Yes. And number 10. Number 13. And C15. Just about to squeeze them. It would be nicer if these rows corresponded to these, but I guess it's not the end of the world. It's just one. It will be solved once I label them, and I can see that they listen to probably some feedback from other users. They look like tiny stickers, so that would be great to have all the labels on both these tips, or like the ends, and on the side. I think it will help me find them in the future more easily than, yeah, the other pens. This one's 17, so we're on row number 2 now. They are very rich. Like some of them are a bit more watery, but some of them are amazingly saturated. And very flat color as well. These two are almost the same, 17 and 18. Then we have C19, which is like a darker version of this color. And 19. Then it's 20. C21. Yeah, I really like how these come on the page. Apart from a couple like this and maybe this color. And this one is a bit more transparent. These are very nice flat colors. And I've lost my count, so I think we've just been on this one. Okay. Okay, I found my place. This is C21. That's 21. I'm getting confused, so let me just double check. C15, 17, 18, 19. Then we had 20, 21. I'm lost. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's the problem with them not being labeled from the beginning. This one's 22, I believe. 23. There is something wrong with them. I think either they're not correctly placed in the box. So let's just roll with it because it will take me forever and a day to find out what the order is. But these definitely look like 26 and 28 to me. Either that or I'm blind and I'm missing some. And then we have, I'm absolutely sure that this is 30, so that's okay. Do you know what? I am going to label them all. Although what will happen if I get them wrong, I don't know. No, let's just go with it, you know? I think this is 33 and 34. $35. 36. No, 38. 41. And 42. And we're on the next row. I must have messed this row up somehow. So we have 43. $44. Weird order, because this one looks closer to this anyway. And we have 45. Very juicy. 46. 49. And 50. 51. C52. 53. And C54. Then we're on the next row, 55. This one's a bit less, it feels less smooth for some reason. 56. 57. Yeah, this definitely feels a bit less nice for some reason. Sometimes it's about pigment, like different colors have different like softness levels or things like that. 58. This one's 55, 56, 57, 58. That's 59. 60. C61. I love the variety of greens. I always love a good green. I often draw nature, so this is really useful. Love this color. This one's C65. Who knows? I think it's C64, actually. C63. And then we have C64. And C65. It would be much more useful if the rows were ordered in the same way as these. Because I got very confused. I think this is 66. Lovely color. 69. Yeah, that's good. 70. Yeah, I think I'm on the right track now. I love a nice grey. 71. 70. 74. 76. Something tells me I will like this one. Oh yes, it's like a grey lavender. This one's 90. 93. Lovely warm grey. 95. And 98. And I found black colors from Arrtx, not the best, but we'll give it a try. Oh, that's not too bad. We'll see how it dries. Okay, through the power of editing, in a second you will see everything labeled. And I did find my mistake. I didn't swatch one of them, so as usual, this is not aesthetically pleasing. But we can test the white one. Let's see if it will go over. And we can maybe correct this. Picked up a little bit of the pen. Yeah, I knew white might be a bit lacking, to say the least, but that's okay. Okay, so these are all the swatches. What we're going to do now is I'll draw something, and because I don't really have many ideas right now, and I usually use my phone for like my photo references, I'm going to draw something that I'm used to drawing, and it will be like a cut design. And I fancy using some blue colors. I like 31, I like 33 and 38 for this, so let's try those. Okay, maybe starting with the lightest. And my design is pretty simple. It's time to color everything in, so that will be a nice test to how flat these will appear. I might do a few tests, so maybe I'll add a blob of color here for later. And I'm adding it now to allow it to dry before we put something on top. I'd like to test how they layer, so I know we'll be drawing, like I'm drawing this piece, but I think it will be a nice test as well. Alright, I think a couple will suffice. It's definitely a bit patchy, patchier than I expected at least. Let me know if you have any tips for avoiding this. I guess drawing kind of, if I drew this cut like this, like filled in, kind of like you draw with watercolor, I guess. If I went like this, maybe it would be less patchy. So kind of no line work and fill in all the space while it's wet. Maybe that would be better, so we'll see how that dries in a second. If you ask me whether I thought maybe they were for like professional use, I would say they feel more like everyday kind of marker pens that you would use in your sketchbooks rather than for finished pieces. I have no idea on their light fastness. I don't know if anyone's ever done the tests. I would be very curious to know. But my expectation with like cheaper brands is that they wouldn't be light fast. The thing with patchiness is also probably to do with different colors and paints in them. I imagine they will all behave slightly differently. I would say maybe this sketchbook isn't ideal for these marker pens. The paper is a bit rough and I can feel it fraying under the pens, which means it might damage the nibs, as well as the paper might tear a bit as you paint. If you have any recommendations for paper for these marker pens, I would love to hear them. I will definitely be trying them in my Royal Talents art creation sketchbook, which is much smoother. Okay, now onto the second layer here. Okay, I think that's it for this color. I'm trying to decide what to do. So I think we have two colors. I don't know if I should use it or not. That's what I'm trying to decide. Is this too dark? Is this dark enough? I think I'll go with this. I don't want too much contrast. There's still a massive patch here. I don't know, from what I know about acrylic paints, they're meant to be flat when you lay them down, so at least that's how I expect them to be, especially from like using acrylic gouache. Okay, I think I'm ready to move on. I would like to test, I think it's dry now. I would like to test lighter color on darker and see how many times do I have to draw a line on top for it to cover, so we need to wait for this to dry. I'll try white as well. And one more thing I wanted to test was, can I control the line thickness of this? think you will agree that the answer is yes. You can see how rough this paper is. So I don't think I would recommend this paper for these marker pens. I would use something smoother if you want them to last a bit longer. What else can we do? Maybe use something like really bright on top of this. That would be a nice test. I just painted my hand. Okay, so this kind of covered really well. Not perfectly, but I'm satisfied. What color could we... Let's do black next. This will need to dry again. This black is much better than the old set that I had. We can compare them. So this is the set of 36, bright and opaque. I don't have a black one here, okay. And these came just with the side labels and not the top labels, which isn't too bad because they are all in the box. Oh yeah, I do. Forgot that this is a 2-layered box. This one is 98, so it's the same color. Looks the same. Pretty much the same pen, I guess. But I remember not being entirely happy with this black. And I'm very curious whether they changed this black ink or paint into a better one. So I think I can see the difference. So it does look like it dries a lot flatter. I'm just making sure that this is just like a single layer of this black and again of this one. And I'll label them before I forget which is which. So this is old. They must have changed something in these. This paint looks very different. I don't know if you can tell. I would be curious. I might compare a couple more if I can find some duplicates. But hopefully you can see the difference. This is the new one and this is the old one. Like, it's very patchy. The old one. The new one is much more satisfactory. And here's the opacity test with just a single layer of a color over the darker color, and I would say it's quite successful, but I will add a second layer in a second. So I'll do it so that it's 1 layer and 2 layers next to each other. And didn't really make any difference whatsoever, but we'll see how they dry. I am curious as to how the other colors compare, and I have a feeling this is the blue. I'm picking the brightest colors just so it's easier for you to see on the video, but these two are the same. This is old. I guess the ink isn't perfect in it. I don't know if you can tell. So, to me, there are like 2 different colors altogether. I wonder if it's because it's not mixed up. Let's see if they bleed on this paper. It's always a nice thing to test, because the last thing you want is to go on to the next page and destroy the page before it. but the bleed test passes with, yeah, it's perfect. So that's a nice thing about this paper and these markers, that they don't bleed. But I guess it's paint, so it's less likely to bleed than ink. I'm going to move this aside and do some tests on a different sketchbook. This is a sketchbook by Midori. It's MD sketchbook. I'll just use a new page just so it's nice and fresh. I'm curious as to whether they will bleed. And also it would be nice to see the difference between how the colors show up. This paper is slightly off-white, so there will be a difference, that's expected. They do come on a little bit patchy on this sketchbook. I'm going to try this one with a couple layers. And again, I'm curious about that blue, the older one. It's very watery. It's very different. The way it comes on this page is very different. Here's a second layer. Yeah, not a fan of this one. There's more water than paint in this. Maybe it would be more fair to compare more colors. Let's see what else I have as duplicates. What I like about this box is I can lay these out like this and not make a mess. Like they don't fall out and spread everywhere. I also have red, which is also one of the brighter ones. So let's try this one. It's 28. This is old, so I'll do it here. This is alright, not bad. They obviously have gone back to a few of these and improved them. Maybe they watched my video that I recorded, I don't know. This is also slightly different. It's not as much as the previous one that we looked at, but it is different. Let's try greens because I really like green. 56, okay. Very different. To the point where I'm like, am I even looking at the same pen? But I am. That's a completely different color. Interesting. I also have 34 as a duplicate. There's quite a lot of overlap, so when buying these sets, make sure you don't buy a lot of duplicates if you want more than one. I can see that the color separated here on this nib. It's also getting very dry, and I haven't really used them that much. Interesting. Wow, it's a different color, okay. Some of them have changed quite a lot. $44. I'm just curious now, you know. It's almost transparent. I know this isn't what the video was about, but I think it might give you a better idea of what to expect from the different sets if you're looking to buy these. So this is the Midori sketchbook. And the top ones are the new ones, and the bottom ones are the old equivalents. These two differ quite a lot. Most of these colors look kind of similar. These two look exactly the same. And I'll draw a tiny drawing here, just to see what it feels like. I kind of like the contrast between these two, so I'll use those. Kind of like this cat. Okay, I'm curious as to whether they did bleed. There is much more of a chance of it showing through because everything in the sketchbook is a lot thinner paper. So yes, it does, but there's no bleeding. Bleeding means that the color comes through to the other side, but the ink or the paint stayed on the previous page, which is really nice. So yeah, as a summary, would I recommend these markers? I think I would if you work in sketchbooks. Their price is pretty affordable, so you don't need to spend a lot to get lots of different colors. Whether I would recommend them for finished artwork, I don't know yet. Probably not, because as you notice, some of them are a bit inconsistent. For sketchbook work though, it's great to have an inexpensive art supply you can play with and not be precious about. And I think that's a great thing about these pens, is that you don't need to spend and break a bank to use them and to make art using acrylics. It's a nice alternative to acrylic paint. Hope you enjoyed this, and I might make more art using these, so maybe I will do a draw with me video soon. Thank you Arrtx for sending me this set and the sketchbook. I just realized that I haven't checked, because the sketchbook is aimed at drawing and drawing pencils and things like that, so I will try that now. I kind of like this plastic box inside. It's not perfect because it's a bit hard to see where I'm going with it, but with each pen, but it definitely helps to keep the pens organized. Easier to keep things tidy. Cool. I think that's all the pens. So let's move on to this. I'm just going to grab a few random pencils without caring what they are. A few things that I use on a daily basis recently. I think that will be a nice test. These are obviously by different brands, but I don't have any Arrtx colored pencils. But this is a Prismacolor, so it's a really nice soft colored pencil. And I can show you what it looks like in this sketchbook, just for comparison. I kind of like this effect. Obviously this paper is textured, so we need to expect, we can expect different results. I'm kind of finding it hard not to feel every single gap. So a toothed paper gives a different result to what I normally use sketchbooks for, but I kind of like it. I think it gives drawing a really nice soft feel to it. Definitely feels more delicate on this sort of paper. It's an interesting texture, maybe not for this style of illustration, because I think this illustration suits more kind of blocky colors. Do my super soft graphite test next. I really like how this graphite looks on this paper, so I might use it a lot more on this stock rather than the softer, the smoother stock of Midori. This is just blue graphite, so not much difference, I guess, in what the medium is, but I broke it. I was pressing too hard. Yeah, this is alright. I won't be testing my Tombow brush pens on this stock because it's too rough and it will damage the tips. They don't really, I don't like it. But I do like the colored pencils on it. One thing I would like to test, which is something that I'm always on the lookout for, is is this paper going to be good with alcohol markers? And I know it's not the smoothest paper, and these are very expensive, but I really want to know if they will bleed. So these are Copic markers. I'm curious if Arrtx make alcohol pens. I'll have to check. That'll be an interesting thing to compare. I can tell this is going straight through. Well, that's normal with alcohol markers. Like, they will bleed like crazy through any paper. So let's see. Let's see how bad it is. It's not too bad, but yeah, I don't like this. That's expected though. I'm not good with this pen. Okay, I'll try a couple more things and then we'll wrap up. These are Holbein Artist pencils, and I'm yet to find perfect paper for these. I think they're just not my type of pencil, you know? I know they're really good quality, but I don't like them here. And I also have these Eero G10 Tombow colored pencils, and they're really hard, so they really don't fit my way of drawing, but I'm curious. I think I could work with these on the sketchbook, actually. So maybe I finally found a good paper for them. And I have this magic pencil. There's nothing to it other than it was cheap. Sorry if you hear noises in the background. My cat just woke up again and is about to eat. But I hope you enjoyed and found this video informative. I really liked testing these materials, and I think I'll use these markers. I kind of tend to buy a lot of art supplies and then not use them, but I'm glad that I have tried them, and I can't wait to use these more in my sketchbooks. I kind of really enjoyed even just swatching them. And I can't remember what I was doing for this cut, but here's the double line swatch. Some of the colors did become a bit more opaque, but they're not perfectly covering each other. I think they do if you layer them a bit more though. So yeah, as I was saying, thanks Arrtx for sending me these. I loved swatching them. I really like that this sketchbook is lay flat. And can't wait to use more mediums in it. Probably not these markers, but some other mediums, maybe even paints. It'll be interesting to test. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up as usual, unless you're my troll. And and yeah, as usual, you can watch my other videos if you check out my videos in the description below. I will also leave a link at the end of this video. You can find all my links down below, including my shop link, so you can check out my comics and stickers and stationery and t-shirts that I've been making. Don't really like advertising myself, but hey, it's got to be done. If you have any ideas for what I could draw with these marker pens, do let me know. If you've tried them before, I would love to know what you drew and what the verdict was. It's always interesting to find out other people's opinions. And yeah, have a lovely day artsing, and until next time, bye! So now you will see on the screen a link to a playlist with more swatching videos. I hope you love it and see you later. Bye!